My name's Brian Scott, and of course the last painting I did was the boats with the blue. Now I lived in Cumberland for 20 years, and everybody in Cumberland has a nickname, and my nickname was Too Much Blue. In Cumberland everything is green and white. Things are changing. There's a lot of blues players up there now, so probably blues is a little more acceptable than when I was there, which has been a while ago. So there's the finished painting anyway. There's the completion of the boats in the harbor. Quite happy with the results of the painting. Now today we're moving on. Now you can see I've really changed the underpainting. So we're going from blue to this yellow-red combination here. Now the subject of today is the old Shakeside, which is that building was built in 1948, which is the year I was born. So I'm 68, so the old Shakeside is 68 years old. And there's the old Baybrook house down there. Now, one of the reasons why I love doing houses and heritage is the stories. There's amazing stories on these old buildings. If they could talk, you'd be amazed. So I've done my research. So remember the 3 R's, so your research. So I've done lots of research on this. Reflect and then reconstruct. Okay. So now you can see how the underpainting is going to work really nicely on a building that's called Shakeside, because it obviously shakes, it's made the shakes. Now this Shakeside is part of the Mac Lang Park complex in Comox, which is to me one of the hidden gems of the Comox Valley. Truly amazing place. The little Brooklyn Creek salmon stream goes through there. You get to it off Balmoral. I'd been there years ago, and then I rediscovered it a couple of years ago, and I was just amazed that this exists, right in the heart of Comox. McDonald Park is here, and there's this wonderful little Brooklyn Creek, little salmon stream goes down through there. You should go and visit it. And then right down on the beach is this old building, which is still there, which unfortunately the town of Comox wants to knock down because they hate, bureaucrats, municipalities hate old buildings. But what we want to do, I'm a member of the Mac Lang Society, is we want to turn that into an educational resource for kids for the school system. Because, and Robert Bateman is doing this. Bateman has realized if we don't get the kids out looking at nature, get them out of computers and the Game Boys and all that kind of stuff, nature's going to disappear. So this is our objective, wouldn't it be wonderful for the kids to come down to that waterfront? Now this is on the Pacific Flyway, which means all the birds, you can imagine, all the birds from the Arctic, they all come down, and this is one of the places where they rest. That's why Mac Lang was there, because he was an ornithologist bird guy, and he collected specimens for the Smithsonian Institute. He went to art school in New York. He was an amazing guy. Here's another guy, Alice Munro wrote her books in that house. She won the Nobel Prize. So, talk about stories in these old buildings, in the history. Because they've been around so long, if something happened, you can believe it. Some really interesting. Okay, so that's kind of the history, the Mac Lang. I encourage people to go down there, have a look, and the more support we can get, we can save that building for an educational. And as I say, it's 68 years old. So anyway, so let's get back to painting here. Let's get back to some techniques here. So I started with the white. You can see you can still see the underpainting. So I used that yellow, red, black combination. And then the important thing with doing building is perspective. You see that what's called the vanishing point, which is a really interesting, it's very simple. You see how the vanishing point, everything converges on that vanishing point. And then the whole system all fits into that. See how and basically it gets big and then smaller and then smaller and then smaller and then smaller as it goes back into space until we get all the way back here over to the quadrant over on the spit, which is over there. And then this is the old Baybrook house in here. See? Yeah. Now you can see how the difference between this painting is what's called a series. when I went to art school, you were encouraged to do a series. Sometimes you do maybe 25 paintings on a series, on one subject, over and over and over. You can see if you look at my gallery, I jump all over the place. Things have changed. So what I'm doing in this one is I'm going to make the building, I'm going to make Shakeside bigger by eliminating a lot of this fiddly stuff in here, which is kind of irrelevant. I love this old boat. Now, the old boat was actually in the back of the building. See, this is composing. You know, you're making a composition. This is the beauty of being an artist. Like, this whole thing is completely out of perspective according to reality. But I'm making a painting, so I'm dividing up the space. You know, the glacier would probably be over here. Boom, I've moved over here. Here's Mount Arrowsmith over here. Well, it'd be way over there. I moved it over here just to create an interesting. And I love this old tree. Look at this magnificent old tree right in the middle here. I don't know what it is. Mac Lang planted it because it's maybe a larch or something. I don't know what the heck it is. Remember we said that man-made shapes are geometric, right? So there's the square and the triangle, and then let's throw a circle in there just to prove my point. We'll put you can see the light. Well, you can see it in that one up there. So I've got the sun. So there's the circle. The circle will be the nails on the, I'll put little nails. Remember we wanted a big shape, a medium shape, and then a small shape. See, there's the circle down there. Oh, there's the circle there, see? So we got a big circle, we got little guys, the nails, and we got and then a sort of a medium size. That creates interest, but it also gives it, people look around, all this stuff going on. Okay, so we're coming around here. This is the walkway, see, so one of the beauties of that Mackling Park is there's a boardwalk all along there. And that's all swamp and wet, and it's tide. See, of course, the tide comes right in and out, so you can walk right along that boardwalk. And right now, there's wildflowers, and you know, it's incredible. Yeah, and the fact that it's still there is a tribute to Mac Lang, that he preserved that forever. It'll be there forever. Whether the building is there forever, well, we're going to figure that one out yet. But yeah. Okay, so there's our vanishing point. We've got our geometry. We've got our organic, right? Organic shapes are geometric, and so you get some wonderful curves. Look at this. It's like a dance. It's like a ballerina going in here. Isn't that beautiful? So organic shapes are irregular, and man-made shapes are straight lines. Of course, I bend the lines, but there'll be lots of straight lines in there. Now, what I do when I paint, I start with big brushes first. Large brushes. Square, round, and what's called blocking in. Get the painting blocked in, you know, fairly quickly. Boom, boom, boom. See, I'm just kind of get everything. Now you can see how I've established the light-dark contrast. The black and white is the strongest contrast. It makes it easier to see. It makes it easier to see your forms if you establish that light-dark contrast. So I'll build in some more white. See that? Boom. So I'm building in that light-dark contrast too. Oh, I love these dormer windows. Aren't they fun? I've got them on my house in Black Creek too. Yeah. There's the glacier. Now you see how, boom, there's the triangles, and I'm repeating. Repetition is really good because your eye will tend to move. Those are two, you want to make one big. You don't want them the same shape because it's boring, right? So we're going to make one a little bit bigger and go in there. So I would establish that, recommend that you establish the light-dark contrast fairly quickly. It makes it so much easier to see the forms. Okay, where are we going to go from here? Okay, so we follow the spectrum. I remember that last time I said, so the spectrum goes from, let's follow the spectrum just for fun here. So we're going to start with yellow. So yellow, on the spectrum, yellow is the lightest. Black and white is the strongest contrast, but yellow purple is the polarity on the strongest contrast on the spectrum. So we're going to start with the skunk cabbage in the foreground, which are these wonderful little, they look like little lanterns in the foreground. You can see how, again, remember, irregular, right? So they're doing a little dance. We're getting a little dance from these skunk cabbage in the foreground, right? So we want foreground. Now, to give it depth, you see how I'm going to have skunk cabbage kind of going through the composition. See, so there they are. And there, Brooklyn Creek is over in there. It comes down from Balmoral. Beautiful little salmon stream. And the school kids were the ones that took about 10 or 15 years ago, they took all the garbage and junk out of Brooklyn Creek and rehabilitated. You should see the coho going up in there now. Boy, you help the salmon out, they'll come back big time. So we're going big, and then small. That'll give it depth. So you can see them now. Brooklyn Creek flows into the bay there, right down in there, which is why this building's called Bay Brook, because it's the brook, the little brook. You can see Mac Lang was a romantic, eh? Bay Brook. Very British, you know. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And then, I remember on the last show I talked about, I shower the forms with light. See everything, the sun's coming down. It's like today. You can see you look outside and the light, the sunlight is showering everything with magic. So this is what I do. I shower all my forms with yellow. Right? So isn't that fun? See, so the light's going to come down. It's going to touch all the forms. You can see, you see how boom, coming around. I shower everything with light. The magic of light. And then it's hitting the roof. You can see on the shakes on the roof, on shake side, the magic as the light hits the old building there, and it comes alive. It's like Filbert Lodge is like that too, and when the light hits the old lodge, the whole thing just comes alive. Yeah. See, so everything's going to have light reflecting off. So try that in your painting, just showering your forms with light. Okay, so there's the yellow. So the next on the spectrum, we'll go the next yellow is that, you know, see, so it's a yellow green. So we're moving along. So we'll go to the yellow green. So where's the yellow green? So the yellow green is in here, and it's related to that yellow. It's the next thing down, so it'll work well. If you think of music, we're going down the scales, eh? So we've going down the scales. See, the way I paint, I mean, it's not really, you know, difficult, but then I suppose when you know what you're doing, it's easy. But so there's the yellow. Now we'll go to the cool green now, and you'll see the difference. Where's the cool green? Here's the cool green over here. It's going to get a bit of. You can see how I use a lot of white. See that? The white, especially on these dark values. See that? Okay, so the green. Let's see what the dark is. Yeah, so it's nice and cool green. Very different than the. So I'm going yellow, green, and then boom, the green will go in there. See, so it all works together like music. I just went down the scales of music. And then in here, in this, see now that's a warmer green in there. That's a called chrome green. So I'm just going to go in there. A bit of that. Okay, so green, what comes after green? We'll go into the, that's a phthalo green, we'll go into blue. Well, let's play around with some line. Now, line describes the form. So if you look at all my brushes, lots of brushes. You can see lots and lots of brushes. I don't have clean brushes. And I was telling you in the last show that I give all my brushes a haircut. See, so there's the pointy brushes. Those are for doing line. There's a pointy brush there. And then the square brushes are for blocking in. If you study art history, it's really interesting that the evolution of paintbrushes and of course the paintings radically changed when the shape of the paintbrush changed. So we're gonna instead of using black, which would be the easy, which I've done already, I'm gonna use blue. See, so we're gonna see what the blue does. So the line describes the form, you can see that. And then the blue, which is cold, 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 is going to make all those warm colors. Now the blue is complementary to the orange. Yellow complementary to purple. If you think of this, the Easter is yellow, purple, Christmas red, green, Halloween is orange and black or blue. You can think of those terms. So you can see how the line describes the form. It's very simple. And just buy some, I'm a Scot, so I admit it, I get a lot of this stuff from the dollar store, and I just give it a haircut. Like that, a brush like that, when I was a student, was $5. I can get like 10 of those now for it's ridiculous. Anyway, you can go and pay $5 if you want, not me. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put the shakes in. Now we know that the blue is complementary to the yellow. See, so now think of your perspective again, right? This will work with the perspective. See, so as the shakes disappear away, they'll follow that vanishing point. So that there's a vanishing point going that way, over the edge that way, and then the vanishing point will go this way. So you can see how the lines are converging towards that vanishing point. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It's fairly easy, this perspective stuff. You can get really complicated, but keep it simple. It makes it a lot easier. Okay, so now the shakes go, and they go opposite like that. And they're from nature, so they're irregular. So then so you got shakes on the roof, and then you've got shakes on the building. The beauty of shakes is they last forever. The shakes on my house here, they're 30 years old, those shakes. Amazing how old those shakes are in there. So there's our circle. Now we talked about our geometry, right? So there's our squares. There's our triangle up there, right? There's our circles in the clouds. You can see the clouds. And clouds. And of course the glacier is going to tend to be irregular because it's from nature. So you can see. And then those wonderful dormer windows on Shakeside are so much fun. Yeah, go down and check that out. It is amazing, that place. What a place to spend a day. And it's like most people don't even know that place exists, And then, okay, the other thing is, so the hot colors come forward and the cool colors go back, right? So you can see the blue up in there. Now this is called a negative space. So the tree is the positive space, and the shape around in between is called the negative space. So positive and negative. That's something to keep in mind. See how that blue, too much blue. We're going to tone that down with the green. So I'm going to mix it in with that green. Actually, that makes it interesting. I learned that from one of my students years ago. The combination of the chrome green and this blue together makes a wonderful color in nature. See how I use that to sharpen that up? That's the beauty of the negative space. You can play with that negative space and make the form do whatever you want it to do just by blocking in. I don't want to lose the chimney in there. Chimneys are really important, you can imagine, because everybody heated with wood in those days. So we'll put the chimney in there. Come back later and work on that. Well, we're into the red. Let's play with the red. That's that cool red that I used. You can see a lot of what I do is that manual dexterity, of drawing. That's why I used to, when I taught at North Island College, I used to tell the students, you're going to do 5,000 drawings between September and December. And I said, your arm is going to be dragging out of my class. Because that's what you have to do. You have to get so, it's like dancing, learning ballroom dancing. You got to do it over and over and over, so you forget about all the steps, and then you're just moving with the music. You're feeling the music. The same with painting. I'm not thinking about drawing because it's second nature. I suppose it. But you can have fun and just play too. It's the same with dancing too. You just. So I'm just blocking in, keeping. This is the beauty of the acrylics. Like I always encourage people to use the acrylics because they're so forgiving. Oils, I could never do that with oils. I should do an oil painting one day just to show the difference. It's a very different technique. And this weather, I love it when it's hot because you just take your painting outside and leave it in the sun, and boom, it dries. Comes back in. So yeah, this is coming along. I've got it blocked in. So again, the technique is to get, work fairly quickly. You got to be organized. Like this was all laid out the night before. You got to have, if you want to do some painting, you've got to have your own space. See, this was all set up. I walked in here, boom, every day. It's all ready to go. Brushes, paint. I put a big piece of plastic over my acrylics. I hose it down with my little atomizer here because I got to keep them wet. So this is ready to go. I mean, I could walk in here at 3 o'clock in the morning if I wanted to paint, which I've done. If I'm doing it, that. And then you can see up here, there's what the finished painting will be, part of that. And then the series. Although this one, the house is going to be bigger, but you can see how I showered it with the light. And I see I even got stars. So you get the sun, I don't know, is the sun going up or down? And the sun's over there. And then, so keep in terms of the brushes, right? Your pointy brush for drawing lines, and then the square brush. So start with big brushes and get the painting blocked in quickly. Do it, and just be free, And like I say, the acrylics are forgiving, so if you do make a mistake, you can work over top very easily. With oils stay wet, so you got a problem if you want. You'd have to scrape the oil paint off. It takes 6 months for an oil paint to dry, whereas this will dry in like 15 minutes, which is really nice. And remember that the idea of going in some hot colors. You want big shapes in the foreground, hot colors coming forward, shapes getting smaller, getting cooler as it goes back. Think and try and get some of those big, beautiful, organic shapes against these geometry. Very simple idea, but has a lot of punch to it. You follow the spectrum again too, so that makes it easy just to follow that spectrum because the colors will just move. So you can go from that yellow to the green, to the darker green with the same brush. So you just keep working along. Boom, boom, boom. Same with at the other end. You can go yellow, orange, red into cool red, and then into purple. and then into blue. See, so it's all flows together. Yeah. So yeah, you can see, so lots of history. Do your research. Old buildings are really a lot of fun. There's so much to paint in the Comox Valley. Go down to the docks, the boats. You know, I just love getting back into doing boats. You can see how I can move between the two. You know, it's really great. So hope you enjoyed the show. And how am I doing, Gord? We're done. Thank you very much. Geez, that goes fast, eh?